Now, the other thing that happens is when we arrive in the hub, we learn about the missing caravans, right? And through conversations with gossips and caravanners, we kind of learn that it's death claws. And this investigation will eventually lead us to what looks like a ghoul, but is actually a mutant named Harold. Harold was in one of the very first vaults to open. It opened 2 years after the bombs dropped. And
this is the first super mutant we're coming across, right? It's that guy?
No, he's not the first super mutant, because super mutants were made before the bombs dropped, right? They were already experimented with the FEV.
But in the games, is this the first super mutant we come across?
So again, he is technically a super mutant, but he looks like a ghoul, not a super mutant.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, and even when you talk to him, he calls himself a mutant, not a ghoul. But ghouls accept him as one of their own. We'll see later on he'll lead a colony of ghouls. But Harold is a mutant, not a ghoul.
Okay.
And that is part of his story. So Harold is born in 2072. He's 5 years old when the bombs drop. And so he emerges and he eventually becomes a caravaner. He helps build the hub up. And then the caravans start getting attacked by super mutants. And Harold and his friend Richard Gray organize a squad to kind of seek out the origin of the mutants and put a stop to them. And their search will lead them to the Mariposa military base. And this is one of the big places where they were researching the FEV virus, right? Forced evolutionary virus. And it is the place where the final conflict of Fallout 1 will take place. So they find this as the source of the super mutants. They have multiple people on their team. A lot of them died trying to get into the base. And then shortly after they enter the base, there is a man named Mark who is injured and returns to the surface and is never seen again. And this becomes kind of the threefold Immortals of the Wasteland, right? You have Harold, who super mutants do not age, right? Harold, while he looks like a ghoul, is immortal. He's not invulnerable. You can shoot him in the head and he'll die, but he will never die of old age. Right? And unlike ghouls, stuff will grow on Harold. In fact, he grows a tree out of his head, right?
Yes, I am remembering who Harold is now. Yes.
And Harold will appear. He's in Fallout 1. He's in Fallout 2. He's in Fallout 3. He may appear in future Fallouts after that. And then his friend, Richard Gray, who was very intelligent. Each of them are exposed to the FEV virus. Richard Gray will go on to become the Master, massively mutated, with the plan to turn everyone in the Wasteland into a super mutant.
Yeah, it's one of the best ways to repopulate a wasteland, right?
Well, the Master's plan is the survival of the human race, right? To no longer fear disease or radiation in this wasteland. Now, there's a few drawbacks to this. The big two are, one, no more sexual reproduction, which means while it is the forced evolutionary virus, it ends evolution. There will be no more evolution because there's no more reproduction.
Everyone's sterile. Yeah.
Everyone is sterile. Now, the second big thing is that people who have been exposed for long periods of time to the radiation, it mutates their DNA. And so when they are exposed to the FEV virus, they lose massive amounts of intelligence. They become very dumb. And you encounter that, like, there's a lot of really dumb super mutants. But if you can get someone whose DNA is not mutated, their intelligence will increase with exposure to the FEV virus, right? They get the strength and the intelligence. However, everyone who undergoes the FEV treatment loses their memory.
I'd forgotten about super mutants.
That's part of how they're controlled, right?
And so why the Master calls them his children, right?
So
it's because like children
at first, you got to re-educate them and everything again. Yes, and then of course we have Mark, who is exposed the least amount to FEV in the base, but we assume that he is. And Mark goes on to become the mysterious stranger. Still looking human, but now immortal. And he walks the wasteland, helping people, right? And that is why he is also in all the games, because he, like Harold, lives forever. Now, I guess the canon lore is you kill the master, right? And that's why he's not done. But right, you do have these three immortals representing good, evil, and not necessarily neutral, but more stealth. Welcome to the floor, fantasy and sci-fi lore, wherever you get your podcast.